They are coming to thank him for a free, fair, and participatory elections.
The election, generally rated as the most peaceful election across West Africa, and Sierra Leone. We see that from international bodies themselves. Local and international organizations say the election is very peaceful. Is that a plus on the government in conducting a free, fair election?
It is
and
a
also
plus.
Not only free and fair, but very peaceful.
It is a plus, huge plus. And there's a lot we need to take away from these elections as Sierra Leoneans, right? We went to 11 years of war. We ravaged this country, we ravaged institutions, put people then behind. And make Usa for today as a country, we not today. Now we don't come, we build up. This is not the 5th elections or 6th election we don't hold in this country. So we are moving as democracy. Every election gets irregularities. Even the Great America, I mean, President Biden election still contested by Donald Trump and get court proceedings and more than they go. Elections is like that. The opponents always not agree. We as SPP back, there was a time we take and go court. But as Sierra Leoneans, what we need for take away from these elections is one. This is not the first time in the history of this country where they get 41 women them where they represent in the parliament. This election make that happen. It not ever happen. Over 30%, 30.4% of women them where they go represent. And these women are from all shapes of Sierra Leoneans, right? You get people them where they wear hijab, you get people them wearing Christians, you get young people up to the age of 25, 26, 27, disables them. People them way disabled, they represent parliament. And this is the representation. This is what Sierra Leone for look at from a bigger picture. This is one of the elections will be very inclusive, very open. People went, the participation, the synergy, people went, they were under the reins, they voted, and we count them. Now everybody knows, say, President Bio win these elections. My brother, even the APC, you talk to them behind the cameras, you talk to them one-on-one, I will party them, what they talk to them. They know President Bio win. Because why? President Bio prepared for these elections. 1 year presidents don't give dates, so let everybody prepare for elections. 1 year you don't announce the dates for elections. We went out, our campaign was spirited, it was fierce. We went to every chiefdom in this country, which we message of inclusion, we message of giving women 30% plus for let them be participating in governance, we message of what? Of development, of reducing maternal mortality, the gains that we don't make, the roads that we don't make, the way we don't education to the map. We talk about what we also plan for do. President Bio believes say for let you rule a country, there are 3 things them you need to get right. One, you have to make sure so that people are educated and informed, because if they are informed, then they're able to make what they call informed decisions. Then they're able to choose the leaders them right. Then they're able to know what's in the happen at the country. Then they're able to participate well. Then they're able to know what's in our policies. Then after that, the healthcare. We are not there yet. What we want to do about healthcare. The way the woman they die, they know they die so again. Now you don't see, we don't reduce that. We get one of the success stories them in Africa as a whole. Whooping 60% reduction in maternal and infant mortality rate. Not so we talk about WHO, then can then comment we. Ask you how they do them. Now the president decides, say, okay, the next thing I want to feed people them. I want to make sure say Sierra Leoneans are able to feed themselves. That will grow within we able to eat. We'll get a lot of area land within this country. Make sure say you can able to sell what you grow, you keep money, take them, do business with them, do them in a different way, still save money and do what you want to do. This is the vision of this president. This is the message we took to every corners of this country. We went to Falaba, we went to Mongo, we went to Gendema, we went to places that are hard to reach areas to message. APC never prepared for this election. They never had money. There was no structure. We saw what happened when they're going to cut up and down. Tell them they blame saying that SPP 9 they do all that. At the end of the day, if you don't prepare for elections, how are you going to win elections?
The president put 5 key priority areas, but before that, the president's initial statement was peace. As he sent olive branch also to in contender when Dr. Samuel Kamara, and like most guests who don't get here talk about the relationship between the all two. Say they are very close. They go to the same church together. They are friends, and because even the president saying friend. But are we for ensuring we bring peace now? Because it's the most important thing. And the president say in priority for now is how we for unify the country, bring everybody together, and ensure say in priorities that we set in 5 key priorities them, we all rally behind them priorities and ensure say we for succeeding now.
President Bio is a peaceful man. President Bio has been behind the peace in this country. He was the first man who ushered us to democracy. Now the man we go pull for the Sankona bush, a bring and calm, the Sidon peace talk. He's a peaceful man. Remy, one of the things I enjoyed working with him is the work with President Bio. One of the things we for learn, he likes decorum. He's a man who likes decorum. But putting the mona you don't for vex too much around them. You for find a peaceful way, a peaceful means for address anything with the mona you. This is one thing we learn from him, within discipline and everything. So, he don't try so much for bring peace in this country since we came to power. You remember the Bintemani tree? We extend olive branch to all political parties. Let's come and discuss. How can we move this country forward? Remy, me and you did on social media. We saw videos on social media where the APC, they talk, say, we know they go there. Then they ask the party member, will they go or we know they go? We know they go, will they go or not they go? We know they go. And they never showed up. Only a few people in a progressive mindset within the APC, likes of Dr. Alpha Khan and others, that they show up there. Kind of Imkelas and show up there. When we went there was a lot that was discussed from that piece. It's still a continue. That's why you see the likes of Alpha Khan, they join them. The likes of the former president. It not ever happen in any country. Wherein you see a former president of opposition party come for can join. They can't join them because they want position at government. So they can't join them because they come up from the same town. They can't join them because
you mean former vice president?
Former vice president Victor Ford. They can't join them because they don't open an arm to everybody. President is always saying this, Remy. He say, I cannot fix this country alone. I don't have all the ideas to fix this country alone. If we want to let this country go before, every Sierra Leonean, all of us have a role to play. Let's come and build this country together. But some people feel say, if they're not in the helm of affairs, if they are not ministers, if they are not directors, if they are not head of other MDAs, they're not being listened for participate. We saw what President did to Paulo Conte. He saw Paulo enroll Ebola. President called Paulo, former Internal Affairs Minister. He called him, say, Carlo can sit down. Let's see how we will fight COVID-19. Your ideas are welcome. Come sit down. So this man will exhibit extreme chances of extending olive branches to other people for camp. Why make it feel say Academy Mkela can join President Bio alliance? To be very sincere enough, President Bio run elections. The SLPP run elections. We still won elections. But the essence is not, the alliance is not about just winning elections. No, the alliance is about to let people see how cohesive we are as a nation. Let people see, say, you can be on the other side, you can be on the other side, you can be on the other side. But if something they were good for this country, we all for rally behind that thing. The law make sure say it happen. That is what Sierra Leone for be about.
The 5 key priority areas really President put together, like you already mentioned, it's about agriculture, human capital development, job creation. So if you blend the job creation and the agriculture, they work the same. If the agriculture project boom, it also create job for the 500,000 people the president they talk about. So how we for able for rally behind the 5 pillars the president put together for able for succeed in that? Because if 500,000 people, get job in this country, it means that there are a lot of things can come in.
Right, and that's what President wants, and that's what he's doing right now. President bring agriculture as a flagship program. Now when I feed salon, Remy feed salon, not get for means say not only people that we come up bonds or people that come up book Kenema Kaila and also President get votes, now they then get for feed. It's gonna be rolled out every district across this country. And it's mechanized farming, it's mechanized agriculture. Recently, you see the youth ministry, they go dole out over 50 fishing boats in the riverine areas. Them. Every area, beside themselves, say, where president don't get votes, them, all the benefits from the riverine. So when development they come to this country, it affects everybody. When I say free quality education, every district that this country gets that benefit there. Even Bombali, we not get any seats there. Then they benefit from the free quality education. Then they benefit from drugs and where they go there. Then benefited from the maternal mortality reduction. Then they benefit from everything. So, President's initiative now for feed everybody. So devoid of your political alliance, devoid of your color, devoid of your tribe, devoid of the region where you come up from. This is not the time where we all as Sierra Leoneans for come together and make sure we rally behind waiting good for this country. Because at the end of the day, the benefits now we they affect. Where the good they come, you not get for pick if you're not black, if you're not blue, if you're not red, if you're not green, if you're not yellow. Where the benefits they come for everybody. So it's about high time, Remy, we as Sierra Leoneans, let we start for the look at policies, things and where they change your life. Lord, it start for look at if they vote safe, Lord, vote for we safe. Lord, they look at programs them whether politicians they come with one and they put say see don't like you know go school like you know learn something think there was somebody go talk where it will make sense to you. Yeah, if somebody comes say okay road not there for go Mongo, the road bad for go Mongo, yeah feel not the Mongo, they can't tell you say as I come at the beginning make plane the run go from Mongo to Freetown, you gonna say that not to talk. You will not say not realistic, not measurable, not so. But agriculture, when you take at Sierra Leone, over 60% of Sierra Leoneans them. Now on that, when you go to the interior, you look at some say, a lot of people then they feed on agriculture. I went with president to Mongo, that Calabar area. Bro, would they drive, it was late, 8 o'clock night, would they drive from Mongote for Kankabala, it was huge, 6 hours journey, bad terrain. When they drive for over 2 hours inside like the bush, you see a cow they no more you see. You see there and see this country rich. All we need for do now the will. We put structures in place, we put machinery in place. Government gets commitment to that. We'll be able to feed ourselves in this country. So elections done, Remy. President Bio won these elections free and fair. We know for Sidom waiting other people then they talk because when they come, they're observers. Some of the observers, let not say all of them. Some of the observers, me and you know Naya. When they come, we have over how many thousands, 7,000 stations around during the elections. They're not they count 7,000 observers. They come few, like 190 or 80 observers when they come, now just few places then they go. So some of them they even left na Freetown here, they see them go to them beach bars, they sit down and sit down there. They sit there and collect reports. They sit there and ask people when are people them way. Sometimes people then they get the biased opinion. The problem we get in this country as Sierra Leoneans, we know they put we country first. Assuming if somebody come now, they come to this country, then they say Remina you point person. You don't come, you don't know the culture of this place, you don't know the dynamics of this place, you don't know the traditional or religious culture, how people vote, how the voting patterns, how they think, nothing. Then you come to this country, where you come and say, Remy, now you point person, or Myk, now you point person. If Remy bias not put saloon first, or Myk bias not put saloon first, they put politics first and putting self first. At the end of the day, the information where they give you now, force you to go with. You they believe in that. So most of the observers where they come in this country, they are being misled by the people that when they meet first, where they give them wrong information, and then they get time for going at the feed and study what's in there happen. It is high time if we want to start cohesion. We start for believing the institutions them all get. We start for believing we own local institutions because we Sierra Leoneans are good people. We have bright minds. I for believe in AYV. Say what's in AYV they talk now too. I for believe say people in the AYV are credible. I for believe say people in the AYV where gets them a petition, where gets class, where believe say we don't go pedal down, they're not go sell them rights for Kokoyebe. The institutions that will build, work on this country. One of the things that will make what you work on this country get me. Now because of failure of institutions. It be reach a time where we get a one-party system. No institution was working in this country. That's why we came to the war. When we come with President Kabaka, the first thing we did, we get the pillars of national reconciliation, national integration, and repatriation. Now for build with institutions the way we don't collapse. Build the police force, build the army, build the National Revenue Authority, build the decentralization, build NACIT. These are institutions where the whole country, if you say you want for can rule a country, you want for can lead this country, then the institutions, the way they believe in the institutions, where are you going to start from, brother?
So is this that of the presidency imperative now for looking to institutional building and then should say we're able to strengthen the democracy and look at peace around as well?
That is what he's doing. That is exactly president's in belief. You don't get to tell me. The president, it happened after elections. President, we get all the data. After the past elections, when President Bio lost the elections, President Bio knew he won. But at the end of the day, he knew institutions that will get the mandate for announced results to announce. I believed in the institution. At the end of the day, he accept defeat. He not decide for creating any chaos in this country. My late uncle, Myk Berewa, is an example to a lot of politicians in this country. Right? We all see the video where they are around after what happened. If President late Tijen Kaba tell him, say you don't win the elections. Tell everybody, say you don't win the elections. And everything. At the end of the day, when they announced the result was different from waiting a young president. Tell him. What he do, he just come out inside there, he take phone, he call former President Kuruma and congratulate him. Because these are our institutions. They are the ones that hope all our values in this country. But if we decide to say, oh, because this institution don't talk, no. Because you young party, but how you go win, say you win elections, they reject you in a bonds. They reject you in Kailaun. They reject you in Pujeun. They reject you in Abu. They reject you in Kenema. They reject you in Kono. Falababak, they reject you there. Now only Bombali you get clean slate. Freetown self you fetch for them. What's the numbers? And then you still believe say you won the elections. You still believe say you won the elections. Then the problem when we get is this is why President Bio prioritized education. Because with education, we they get cohesion. With education, people then become informed. With education, people then not able to fool you. Because like you saw Remy, I don't need for no which political party you vote for. But I believe say you're fully informed person who can tell you say, go do this, where you know say, you don't get any direct benefits to that. You know say not the wrong thing, you go do one. So, and that is why President Bio wants, let's say, Leoneans to be very educated. And the education where they try for bring, not so education past people get masters, people get doctorates, but let people be able to know good from bad. Let people be able to be informed on their civic duties. Let people be able to be informed on their civic responsibilities. Let people be able to be informed on the policies that they change in life. Let people be able to be informed on, say, you don't need for sit down wait for government. You self can go out there like feed salon the camera agriculture. You can lay pepper farm, you can lay garbage farm, you can lay jakato farm, you can lay gymlocks farm. You survive from there. Remy, if you go to East Africa, I had a lot of East African friends who I went to school with in Washington. In East Africa, you get a lot of boys that went overseas. What they do, then they lay farm. Then get beaucoup, they will get this tomato farm. This tomato farm, then lay them, then get beaucoup, then they and these are boys them way they're not even do so well now overseas. Then little money when they get and they send out and the villages them, then lay them farms in there. When they lay them farm, then what they do, then develop an app. When they develop that app, then they sell them tomatoes and they in boxes. Like if you want, you go on the app, if not tomato you want, or if not goat you want, or if not dry fish you want. You go on the app, you order, and just like a Uber, then they come deliver them, and use them, package them fine. A lot of young people in East Africa, Kenya to be specific, then they live on that. They're not even, some don't open shops, some they able to feed them families, some don't go school through that, some boku. This is not the type of vision where President Bio want to bring to this country. That is why we all for come together and allow him let it finish in second term. Because he win the election free and fair. The politicians then just they try to raise contention. They just they try to tell. And you when a politician, my brother, you get the utmost authority, and you get for lead you people them right. One quality of leadership is that how you lead the flock, how you lead people. One thing when we see from your brothers, them APC brothers, them is then they lie to them, supporters them a lot. And that is dangerous. You they put them in harm's way. You they put them sideways in order to bring national cohesion. Lord, will they talk to as leaders, them. Lord, will they talk to followers, them.
Is the SLP party willing for, going to dialogue with the APC in building peace and national cohesion?
President Bio is ready today. I will tell you today if Dr. Samura, defeated Dr. Samura, take the phone right now and call President Bio and congratulate him and say, I want to work with you. President Bio, I know, the President Bio they work with all the shenanigans where they go on. They go tell him, you're welcome, my brother. Come, let's sit down and talk. I know him.
Because I recently know after the 2018 election, we see the former president and entourage from the APC also visits the president at State House. So we all, most Sierra Leoneans be glad and say this is not the 10th world they look for, as way of building peace and national cohesion just after the 2018 election, and then, but I would be going for certain kind, collaboration there.
That is all what we want. Like we all know we want that. Because this country, no one region, no one tribe, no one political party, no one politician able to fix this country. It takes all of us. The role we the player bring post-mortem election, cohesion, national peace goes a long way. We all get a role to play. Now one salon we get. Gento can raise, after election, Gento gets all the team for racing. Myself not glad with this result. Now me for don't win. But at the end of the day, guess what Gento say? Where I read Gento in speech, my brother, one piece what I take from him, that was deep.
Yeah.
He said, Freetown is larger than all of us. If we all can be like Gento, say, this country, big pass we all. Because this country need for run. Doctors, the need for go to a hospital for treat patients them. The banks need to be open and keep on running. Schools, the need for be open, let them they go. Not to one person for can put this country on a halt just because they're not happy with the outcome of elections we are not prepared for.
Generally, I don't say the person ever continue for people obviously for the continue for congratulate the president and also pay and visit and let them express their gratitude to the president in the way the election run. With all of that, but is there any way the president can say, okay, well, let's set a meeting with political parties? I know, extend to the main opposition, All People's Congress, and we see the coalition, progressive coalition between APC, the ruling SLPP and NGC, where that synergy they very work. I talked to Gismed yesterday, we are the national chairman of the National Grand Coalition Party, and he said I'm very delighted because part of the agenda towards the coalition, now for ensure the president be elected without no one off. And he also mentioned that some of them plans they will engage now for also looking into agriculture, and see how they can for support the president into that vision day, and also guide the president as well how for go and succeed, because if we get a better food security inside Sierra Leone, obviously we're economic able for better.
This is a Sierra Leone we all want to see. I believe this is a Sierra Leone, the person I work for wants to see. This is a Sierra Leone president we want to see. And that's why you see we get an alliance. You see a lot of political parties them already joined the vision of President Bill. The C4C joined the vision of Sierra Leone. We recently, just before elections, about 8 political parties and said declared and said. So this whole thing, all they talk. I mean, now only one political party now get this problem. And trust me, I respect the APC. And I formidable force. Now one of the oldest parties them that was going. Now strong opposition. But my message what I send to them right now, I am challenging them. There is nothing is going to change the outcome of this result. President Biya has been sworn into office. He's a president, legitimate president of this country. He's going to continue to rule this country for the next 5 years. Let's put all this behind us. Bring to the table, bring something solid, waiting you want, lo we do. Where everybody go look into them, Sierra Leoneans and go look into them. We use as a platform, we use as a template to move forward. Because all this one they do, you don't get for changing nothing. Say you don't get for go walk, Parliament still get for on. oh, we don't know what nothing. It's still for continue. So are we going to be dragging that? It's because it's not me, it should not be you. Are we going to drag that for another 5 years? Everyone will suffer. Everyone will suffer. Even your supporters themselves get for suffer. Because at the end of the day, if you stall progress, at the end of the day, if you stall institutions them from running, at the end of the day, it's going to affect everybody. It can affect people the way they Bombali. It can affect people the way they Kamakue. It can affect people the way they Makini. If hospital not run and sick, it can affect them. So this election is over. It's done and dusted. You don't see a lot of international organizations and the presidents then they congratulate President Bio. ECOWAS not endorse the man. They don't congratulate him. Doha, Qatar don't congratulate him. Venezuela don't congratulate President Bio. Turkey don't congratulate President Bio. Now we're thinking about what? Inauguration. So all what you they do, it's not going to take us anywhere as Sierra Leoneans. Let's put this behind us. Let APC now sit down and reflect on what to make we lost this election. What can we do better? Even the reports where they come up from international organizations, Remy, international organizations are not mention any fraudulent thing. For say, oh, the result was fraud, the elections were not credible. No. They mention, say, transparency. Yeah. You don't get to tell, in tabulating the figures. At the end of the day, we have to also understand, let's try to know the difference between an observer and a monitor also. There is a huge difference between that. Who are observers, who are monitors. There is nowhere, no the way. You boss phone, you boss way. Then you go see the right report, it can hang on top, you know how they watch. It's not possible anywhere. You get to tell the try for talk. You get the elections was very transparent. Any police station what they done, then they put the figures in and they put on the board. Now the board. Everybody see that. Take them, then you collate them. At the end of the day, if you get any discrepancies, they raise them on the. There is a process. Go to court, let you go, raise that. But institutions have to keep running. We cannot keep this country at bay. We cannot keep people in fear. We cannot keep people waiting on the edge just because you feel so because your political party not win, not enough will happen. Me, I they talk to my brothers then. The one that they hear me from APC. The one that they hear me from Putloko. The one that they hear me any side where you there. This is over. Now we put this now, we passed. This country, we all get a role for play. We all have a stake in this country for push this country go before. Let's come and join President Bio in vision for this country. It no matter not to pass you take the front seat, not to pass you turn minister, not to pass you turn deputy minister. If you have initiatives, you have ideas, bring it up. It can start from your local level. It can start from your town. It can start from your constituency. It can start from your community inside. Let's move this country go before. Because we picking them where they behind, then they look at we. Then one for see how will they move this country go before. There are tremendous gains the more don't make as a nation at this country. Tremendous gains. When they talk about education in Africa now, then they mention we did. When they talk about maternal mortalities in Africa, then they mention we did. Now we don't make women and they get about 30-something.4%. Now in the parliament, these are all gains as a nation. This doesn't just come just because President Bio announced it. It came with reforms. It came with policies. The people sat down. They wrote those policies. They debated those policies in parliament. For law gets to Saudi. So do ya? Law put this now past. The president open. If you want for talk to the president, any political party for not Sabia for talk to, reach out to me, Director of Communications, Office of the President. If you're not a political party, not APC, not somebody say you want to talk to president, president's willing for listen to everybody. But we have to put this as behind us and move as a country.
So generally, what's your message to Sierra Leoneans in terms of peace and national cohesion? We did election undone. Now it's about development. How we for move Sierra Leone before, how we for support the presidency agenda, and we support them till they succeed.
Your message to Sierra Leoneans very simple. This election's done. Nothing is going to change this result. It's legitimate, it's sealed, it's done and dusted. Now we as Sierra Leoneans must begin to think progressive. How do we have to move this country go forward? The president gets a clear agenda. The agenda is very simple. One of the big agenda now for feed salon. If you know say you want for feed yourself, if you know say you want for go home, you better full. If you know say you want for sleep, you better full. If you know, say, agriculture, now the only way forward for law we able feed yourself, law stop for the importers for the Canada this country. If you believe, say, yes, back for good done, cheap one for begin it's the thing that will be grown, can't join President Biola move this country go before. There is too much misinformation out there, too much lies out there on social media, too much density out there. Politicians and they lie to people them a lot out there. They not they tell them what's in the truth. Don't fall for that. This country, if you have business woman, you get for go sell. If you dey work, you get for go work. You pay need for run. If you dey go school, you get for go school. For let you able learn, let you say can contribute to this country. Lord, we tell you brothers and sisters and say elections done. Now one great person in the win. It not mean say because you not win, that means say the results not right. You don't get any evidence for proof say the results not to correct results. We institutions are the most credible institutions, even more than any other international institutions where they can at this country. Let's move forward as a country. Let's move forward as a nation. Now only one salon will get. Now we no more able to make salon. Yeah? Then with man when they come, then one less salon, then not even one less salon better. The wireless salon they no more for the big. Now with man countries we all on day. Yeah, we don't did it, we don't can, we know how then they think. No national one let a combination passer. They always want law they under. The gains that we don't make at this country just after we elections. Now any results come up from the Global Peace Index. Yeah. We say Sierra Leone are the most peaceful country in West Africa. Not to bribe, the third peaceful country in Africa. Even America, where they see 30 days the election result is contested. 30 days. People then they die, they pass all sides. Police they kill people, then they pass all sides of this world. 30 days gun reforms now, America, they're not able to settle them. So we have a lot to celebrate after these elections. We can celebrate women's participation in politics. We can celebrate disabled participation in politics. We can celebrate the peaceful transition of power from one regime, from one tenure to another, from one President Bill take out of office. There is a lot to celebrate after these elections. These elections was peaceful, was transparent, and the only elections when we see people in the vote outside, Nado, they're not getting Nado, clear one in the vote. There is no incident of voters fraud. There is no incident like I don't know they see elections, they see ballot paper, they not scatter over and then go dig hole and see them and go burn ballot paper. We not see none of that. Already they are politicians and they try to make sure say because they don't lost, they not prepare for elections. They want to make sure say you believe say na them for win. So me I they talk to me APC brothers them, I they talk to me APC sisters them. You were there out there, elections done. Law put this out to pass. Law prepare. If you're not APC, you're not a political party, prepare for the next elections where they come. We have to move this country going further. We begin a need for good school. Mama, auntie, and brothers, then we sick within our hospital. Doctors, they need for go see them. Yeah, institutions, they need for run. Banks, they need for open. Let's move this country forward as a people and as a nation.
Thank you very much, Myk Berewa, the Director of Communications, State House, Office of the President. Thank you very much for being part of the show, Myk.
Thank you, Remy. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, AYV. I'll continue to talk to people in this country now. We all get a role for play because that's the only salon this world get. Thank you.
You're always welcome. Shall we get for the being come for talk about more developments, within the governance structure and office from the president. And also the president get for more people get for the visits to the president, get for the congratulate the president, more engagement, with stakeholders across the country. We'll definitely go to talk to you on that as well. So many thanks to you, Myk, for being part of the show. Myk Berewa, the Director of Communications, State House, Office of the President.
The framework for able to operate. But now that we day, you see where woman they come forward. Hey, go surprise you, the whole of Africa. We get the youngest parliamentarian for this year, 2 of them, 25 and 27 years of age. They are the youngest members of parliament, like how Africa is up so now. So, and then to them, they also, now woman there. It means say Salon also don't make a new name for Africa for emulate, say young people like President Biyobi the talker, young people not for only the whole bag, the alabra you body. Young people can actually take leadership positions and role, like what they see David Senge, 34, Minister of Education, the youngest in Africa. So it means say the opportunity don't they now for young people, especially women there. The question now remain, will they take it and use it at their advantage and help for push more pressure so that since then they inside now, more space go able for open up for their colleagues then for continue for cancer.
Okay, Lawrence, I also want for your own side on this. What's in this mean for Salo Umanden? Then also for ask you think say Salo Umanden ready for actually occupy them position there?
Well, honestly, I think that for far too long, Umanden don't express concerns as to why them we don't BN and why them we don't close that space there from them. Mind you, what we see now as the Kiwi Act, the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act. Now, something we don't start many years ago. I remember when in 2012 when they formed the APWA, All Political Parties Women Association, and prior to the 2012 election, where they present, the position paper to the then President Ernest Komai, and even promise solemnly that once they able to draft the law, it will give them the support for make sure say women then get the 30%, but that not be realized until the current government, when they take power in 2018, when they try for push that one and make sure say yes, indeed, it come to being. Basically, we all don't they advocate for let women they actually get the space to occupy, decision-making positions, because it's very important. Their contributions to society, to the socio-economic development of the country cannot go unnoticed. And we also don't see, besides the political space, there are provisions as well for even in the public and private sectors. We ensure that we give 30% to Umande. So this is just the starting point. I believe, say, even in President Bio in appointment, we're going to start for appointing cabinet. We want to see, more women being appointed, into full cabinet positions or deputy ministers and all heads of parastatals and thereabout. Because once you set the pace, then others are compelled to follow. So even now when we talk about women and their contribution to agriculture, where President Bio in number one pillar for this term, as indicated in their manifesto, now feed the nation, and that purpose leading into agriculture. And we know that a larger part of the population where they into agriculture are women. So we also want to foresee that it does not stop at the political level or at parliament level. We want to foresee more support to women there with it down there as well, so that we're able to bring them, come up, empower them, resource them financially, technically, logistically, so that they're able to match up and able to do what they're supposed to do. For me personally, I will be looking forward to the quality of representation in Parliament, looking forward to how these women will be articulating on several bills. Probably in an instance where there could be some disagreement, let's see how they could actually come forward and be able to, make a case, strong case for, such bills as the case may be. Even this, the Child Rights Act, which the Parliament failed for pass, the 5th Parliament be failed for pass. We want to see how, I'm looking for a situation where the woman and go sit down and say, okay, we need to take this up and push on. Because when you look at who that they bear the pain for men picking, raise them up, train them well and everything. Yeah, the fathers could be there providing the financial support for the women, blah, 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 but the women most times stand and they will be picking them. So we want to see a case where, these women could now take up their bill and support them. They have the numbers. They have the numbers, and their number in this 6th Parliament is very, very influential. I will look forward to them taking tough stance, taking positions on certain bills, certain legislation, certain agreements, particularly mining agreements, mining contracts, because the communities are perishing. And who are those that are suffering? The women. The men and the women can go get surface rents. Now, what they see before, I like by them by the land-owning families them. Now, man, they see, even though there has been a reform in the legal reforms in the land sector for allow women themselves for own land, and we born a free tongue yourself for go get rights for go own land or put inside it. But by and large, women are the victims. So we want to see this group, this female caucus, being very influential in the 6th Parliament so that they make a mark and they set a history.
Okay, now News 24 actually get on the front page. It says, as President Bill continues to promote peace, Sierra Leone recognized as 3rd most peaceful nation in Africa. Global Peace Index is the world's recognized peace rating mechanism which rates countries globally on peace. GPI has a checklist of peace indicators on which countries are rated. Notwithstanding the much trumpeted isolated pre-polling, polling and post-polling violent incidences in the country, anti-government critics and naysayers were expecting a very poor performance of Sierra Leone in the 2023 Peace Index. And of course, the recently published Global Peace Index 2023 ranks Sierra Leone 3rd in the whole of Africa and 47th of all countries in the world. So, you know, AYVB actually try for reach out to key and strategic locations there or in the country before elections. So actually analyze as well how citizens then prepare as we go towards the June 24th elections, and for also take messages from them on what thing that they expect. And one thing where we actually cut across most of and almost all the citizens there where we come across at that point was that they look forward to a peaceful environment. And of course, we don't get so many congratulatory messages even from other partners, from other observers on how peaceful the elections were. Although that is not just the only indicator where I know say the Global Peace Index be used for assess the peace for ranks alone as one of the most peaceful countries in the world. What do you actually make of this, Lawrence? Because we don't see also other people that don't comment Sierra Leone towards the peace as a peaceful nation. What do you make of this?
Okay, now to start with, me and one person don't follow the GPI for a very long time, and in fact, in most cases, they get a report prior to it being published online from the Institute of Economic and Peace. Let's just give a rundown. Sierra Leone indeed make an improvement, but that is also because some other countries within the domain deteriorated in their level of peacefulness, the likes of Guinea and Mali and few other ones. Even Ghana, to a certain extent, deteriorated in its level of peacefulness. You know, the cost of living crisis we sparked last year caused a lot of countries them for actually deteriorate, go down in their rankings, even though Sierra Leone was also not spared. But we were able to manage it, we were able to recover from it as quickly as possible. And we have structures them, we actually therefore promote and maintain peace. The Peace Commission is one, and of course we have other bodies. Now, in 2018, Sierra Leone was ranked 35 globally, right, and 3rd in Africa. So this is not the first time. Now, in 2019, Sierra Leone, we drop in terms of performance, ranking, we go up to 52 globally. We were ranked 52. And in Africa, we ranked 6th position. In 2020, performance improved. We were ranked 46 globally and 5th in Africa. In 2021, again, we still maintained that 46th position globally and 4th in Africa. We improved a bit. Now, for 2022, because some of these skirmishes which actually took place between 2021 and June to 2022 March and thereabouts, Sierra Leone was ranked 50 globally and 5th in Africa. Now, for this current year, we don't go back to we position who will be there in 2018, 3rd in Africa. So, yes, indeed, we've made some improvements, and that's commendable, particularly so within this electionary period where, I mean, many people were very much apprehensive about the level of peace we'll go for maintain. Many people let me get fears about violence, occurrences, you know, and all of that. Of course, the Adebayo factor, of course, instead they one side again back. So a whole lot of things will don't happen, but we have been able to manage it. We have been able to actually improve on our dialogue strategies, negotiation skills, and of course, to some extent, we don't see law and order be enforced in an instance where all hell could have broken loose. So we see the police joining with the military, the Myk Berewa operations. We see that they enforce the law, even though there are instances where they could also be roped in for high-handedness and things like that, yet we've made such improvements. So it's a plus on our side. But don't forget, one of the things that with the Global Peace Index they talk about is that globally, on a global scale, there is this deterioration in the level of peacefulness. If you take a look at what's happening now in Ukraine, there's a spillover effect of that. Again, there is this threat in China and that of Taiwan, wherein the Chinese government, they accuse the US government of provoking the situation there. So there are several other possible threats which, if not managed well, could actually lead to some much bigger global crisis. But on the whole, we are performing better, and we are even better than the US when it comes to level of peacefulness. That, interestingly, in most of these indexes, when it comes to level of peacefulness, Sierra Leone is far better than America, who all were on for go. So that's an applause for us. Okay. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Basically, I think Salon they maintain them position in this specifically for few things. Making tell people then say Salon very peaceful. Now some of the indicators that we make we remain peaceful get for do with the way would they behave to ourselves culturally. Salon are the only country where you go now one region, you go meet the other region, they like say na them they like say na they them born, they settle, them born picking and they intermarriages and Salon, because these are all indicators for peace. Is when they allow for interrelate with Timini, other tribe there. Salon we very good at that. Religiously, Salon are one of the best in terms of relationship between religions. When you look, if Christian die, again Muslim party, they go to the church. So man no mind, you don't go inside the church, but it's in up there. Where the church come out to go na the bed and go on for go bed. We all come back na the same house. You go see if Muslim die, Christian they go na the mosque. That's enough. Like they know all that's enough. But other country, you know the same they happen. Also, one of the things we maintain this position, other country then drop. Now the action we government of Salon take where the coronavirus come, because the coronavirus pose threats to peace na the whole world. Because anytime one of the key indicators of peace now the economic livelihood of the people there. Where the economic livelihood of the people and they under threat, automatically that one day they make peace not in another country there. Now when the corona come on, like the Ebola, Salon we don't learn from the Ebola. So we make quick action there for make sure say the effect of corona no abogui like how Ebola abogui. We see government take proactive step there for shut down the country, land, air and sea. All right, whether they make the effect of corona, Salon are one of the countries we get the least number of effect. If our people then they say corona no can Salon, but me they say no, it can. Why people they say that? Because government of Sierra Leone under President Bio take proactive step there. Then one. The other aspect now the quick thing then we then also take for maintain the peace, economic thing there. Government of Salon in 2020 released like 50 million to the business people there. When $1 say okay. We know say one of the problem where this sick don't bring now for make sure say commodities lost. So when I have this money at a cost recovery basis, when I go buy all the goods them where we need, when I bring her. Liberia, why them peace index drop? Petrol loss. You remember one time, right? Liberia Kaya for take some barrels of petrol. Yes, they sell yes $150 for bag. Now Liberia, you know they safe. People they go queue whole day for barrels. Salon, yes, even though it's in the media, but throughout the challenging process of corona, government make sure say commodities they be there in country. So me a possibly they argue basic economy. They say, oh, tin India na Salon, tin India. Now say, well, I'll make example to you. Tin India, but they not day, or tin India, but then day. Which you prefer? They say no, but I let the tin India no more. Because where India go direct, I go buy me one cup rest. So they make sure say they keep her. Businesswoman like the tourist sector, you see, government be pay 3 months to all workers then within the hospitality sector. Because one side where the corona be affects now the hospitality sector, hotel no they own, bar no they own, and you get huge number of people where they work in that sector there. So government pay them 3 months ahead. Whether they help their family them for make them go. The money also when they give them business woman there. 1.3 million each to over 800,000 businesswomen there across the country. So, okay, we don't say now sell no day, but who NAXA, when I look this money, add them up to your business. So that one they help largely for maintain the peace internally. We position currently, we'll come back to from 2018 when a third most peaceful country in the world, we maintain them. Now to the elections. Because I know say, Myk always talk out, I don't do a lot of surveys in this country on we peace index with international partner there. Salon no get problem. Now we politicians they can one make we believe say Salon gets something like tribal war, regional war. No, we don't get them. Yeah, now just a small number of time and people now they can make that one they happen. Now look this election, something funny happen. After we don't get so much tension, say, we don't call election, we'll get for no. Every side get for scatter, then get for burn holes every side. When they call the result, everybody, it's all like the country stands still. Everybody melts down. People came out. Up to today, at the pastor community, they were now densely populated with APC people there. You see people that wear the green talk and do the wear the cap. Then they sell, then they market them, then they sell, then they interrelate. And the one that say, what? This kind of tension we been there during the election non done. Now they see some people wear APC polo. That one they wear Pastor Abacha, then they say, you see set of people wear SLPP clothes, set of people wear APC clothes. Then they can, hey, Memuna, give me this now, last seller, or do what you want. Then they interrelate. So in terms of we peace, if we maintain it this way, Salon are one of the country there. With plenty country there and research institutions them, they can learn from what they make they able for live together. But again, we not for be complacent with anything and the legal may board at the top. There are several factors. Like right now, one of the threats where Salon gets now Adebayo. If you read the EU election report, they put on clearly. Say one of the threats where the country get to for maintaining peace now Adebayo, because Salon we country we gullible. 65 to 70% of the population no go school. So then just feel say where are they by us sit down in London, a gap na money, say, oh no, today I don't go beat BO, they believe her. Because they oversee the people that they na up country, now they listen to. So if Salon as a country we all not come together, political party they not come together. Now so rebel group that they begin. The rebel leader the way they see at the world now, so they begin small. So I think say we as a people get for unite, like oh unite May 8, he knows where him is small, but a mommy we born he know. Say May 8 will papa them by then and then you that's up against for the Sako heavily the people SSF. So now so we need because if we look at it by all the gear and deaf here, would they look at all the gear and deaf here small as a people. We happy for me personally the stand where President BO take after August 10. Because they can say waiting switch you now they run you belly. After August 10, you see Adebayo will President BO tin up now like the president. Two say make them must work because you know say no, the president no ready, don't tin up. And 9 people vote for, 9 get in country. But we self as a people, politicians, we need for tin up and make sure say we denounce Adebayo. You can be a critic. This may bother. We don't fight now this studio plenty time. But we are critic to the country, but we know the incite. He has never incited the country against the people against the country. You can be a very good critic against the things that way they happen at the country we not correct. You can say it's now your democratic right. The 1991 Constitution guarantee you that. But for making you incite to the point that come on do anybody who you meet chopping head like come out. If you meet government or to cap bona, that is not activism. That is not social activism, and that is not what social media they for. So we for continue for maintain the peace and continue for denounce people where they do things and way for make peace derail in this country.
You know, I just come in just to highlight some of the indicators that way the global peace index they look at. Now they get indicators that way they look at attitudes. You get why would they look at institutions. You got one they would look at structures. So the attitudes, institutions, and structures that create and sustain peace. Then they look basically in identity they need to evaluate. And when it comes to the attitude, actually they evaluate the attitude based on how would they interact. With one another. Then when it comes to institutions, they measure the effectiveness and transparency and inclusiveness of governance and administrative systems overall. Then when it comes to the structures, they pay attention to technological, scientific, and economic foundations, the way they support and promote social development. So these are the 3 main indicators there, which, of course, if we pass the MCC, obviously we are supposed to make improvement in these other areas, except otherwise. But we have been doing fine. The issue about because I see don't they emphasize on the political rhetorics and the public incitement, particularly citing Adebayo. For me, I've always maintained since 2018. I don't need to talk. Before this time, before 2018, we were very much critical of the All People's Congress government. Openly, civil society, media. In fact, I would say that civil society teaming up with media, now they pull APC commander power. Now, 2018 onward, what we see and what we have is divided media, wherein many of those who actually were involved in the struggle for the liberation of democracy under All People's Congress Party swayed away from that path. So when the people now want and need a voice, somebody to talk for them, the media is not there, the civil society is not there, they now turn their attention and focus to Waras Kalwede Obayanda. That is how Adebayo has been able to resonate himself with the people. Now the problem that one day. And until and unless Adebayo rantings will continue and people will continue to be believing in, people will continue for the follower, until and unless the media come back, the civil society come back and take up that position, when something go wrong, there should be widespread condemnation. If it's something that pertains to the government, we should stand against it. If it's something that has to do with institutions, we should kick against it. If it's something that has to do with political parties, we must be able and muster the courage to stand against them. But because we've largely failed in that responsibility, now Myk Berewa become so successful in this era. I will tell you for free, that is my opinion. Yeah, and that is not something based on, say, mere opinion. It's something I've sat down, read, and evaluate and assess before I actually come up with this opinionated statement. So until we're able to begin do the thing that we do before, you mentioned about May 8th. I was young, my mama, your daddy, now they all made it. Probably they could have been shot, like the others who were killed. But because at that time, when they say civil society, when civil society talk, Pakabai government, they tremble.
So they blame this on the silence of the one away for actually stepping for talk?
Well, I will not call it silence. I will call it a conspiracy. A conspiracy.
Well, for me, you have a point. But, you know, in international activism, standing for the people, for like me, where they work on service delivery, they make sure they will continue for whole government accountable on services where it don't promise. Now, the peace of the country, no, you know, they build the peace of a country, say because of the divisiveness of the media. Under President Bio, for example, the media in this country have been supported unprecedentedly.
Because that is no doubt.
No,
that is on record.
For the first time, we don't get subvention where they go to Slash. We don't get the MRCG. We don't come every day before, but they don't come strongly through the BBC Media Action Group where they train media. We now get the fact checker. So a lot of things that don't happen. But the problem is, how can we control the social media? Because if you look what Adebayo they do, a different form, what you refer to say Adebayo stand in the gap of the people. No. When you stand in the gap of the people, when they say the people, how can you define the people of Sierra Leone? It's when you say something, the country reacts to them. Then you stand in the gap of the people, not one set of people. Adebayo don't follow, I don't think I'm clear. I want to say, oh, the next president of Salo is Dr. Samoa Kamara. Then PPP love Salo, don't endorse her. You understand? Then you not stand in the gap of the people. Because the people is not only about Dr. Samoa Kamara of PPP. Adebayo have a mission that President Bio for calm down at all costs. Then a specific mission where he gets. Say President Bio at all costs not for rule Salo. No matter how, no matter what. So that is not activism. We have never come here and do that now. So in your role, like how you explain and so a little bit different. Now, people will believe in a political ideology, one set of political ideology, where Adebayo they talk, they resonate with them. Adebayo no ever turn up and say, no, today I call demonstration because the road between Bo and Matujon, now the president come out now enable Donna. So I call every Sierra Leonean for common do. We did it. In 2008, 2009, we went to Makeni and organized a demonstration against President Nkrumah, say, Makeni need for make. Now there you come out. The deployable situation of McKinney was wrong. So we organize a demonstration. People come out na do say McKinney need forget light and as chroma. Even if not trust you, trust for put light na McKinney do it. But has Adebayo one day called say Kenema has remained the most deployable regional headquarter for over 50 years and called on President Bio for make 30 states na Kenema. No. Has he called today the only district we don't connect by Kota? Till now from Bo to Matujon. Has he ever called demonstration against President Bio say the people of Matujon deserve more than what you do so? Has he ever done that? No. So Adebayo in activism is political centric, is politically related, is ideologically fixed with a pattern of President Bio for common power, Samoa Kamara 9 for Kana power. And when you do that one day, what you don't do, you don't limit the space. If you been there for talk about one political party, AYV not they call yourself. If I be there for blow the horn of one political party, AYV not they call me. AYV will never, if they bring Adebayo here today, now for talk on how APC for Kana power.
You know, one of the things that we actually get the potential for also hinder the peace where they enjoy, like how we don't carry on that conversation. Now, this spread of hate speech or misinformation and disinformation, and mostly then they go on at the social media where it had for make people able to regulate them. But what I want to actually ask is, other way no day where salon people go be engaged for actually getting right information, forget the communication flow between them rather than just waiting for one person where you will probably go bring incitement and allow people and for go the wrong path.
Now they are one can now. And I think say President Bio is so concerned, don't give they don't open a mind to few things there. One of the things that if we don't open a mind to one now, if we don't begin from 2007, but I think say what happened this election if we don't ring a bell to one now. Sierra Leoneans now believe the border. Salon don't divide. Now Salon in division not by regional where people they say northwest south is no. The division of Salona is by district. People believe say if this man born na Cambia then get a position. Now what they listen to. Now so the country don't they now. And Corona begin lay that platform day in 2007. All that districts they don't pick her now. You go see man and go get her now one district say no yeah now we on stronghold. Now we safe now they are. If they don't give you position, they feel left out. So I think say one thing we President Bio for land from Dande, na government of inclusion. Make sure say every tribe, every district, their voices are heard in your government. Now they begin first of all. Because we're carrying a gap na money. So one deputy minister and we President Bio put na carrying a common our brother. When they say get problem, they call her, hey minister, they don't call attack we na carrying a they able call the IG, then problem solve. You don't see the people they become happy. But if you design a whole government, left one particular district out, what till they happen? Other people they go inside and say, you see, una always vote for this man. Una see, don't left una out of in agenda. You know the member una safe. Nobody una not get. So I think say going forward, President Bio for make sure say, for make we calm down. In fact, Salon deserve for the one or second position in terms of pay because I repeat and just on something they do very uniquely now this country. Where insider indicator they a very huge way other countries they know they do one. When are the way would they relate religiously and the way would they relate culturally with tribe, how would they intermarriage, how would they settle in different parts of the country there. We don't want they very unique. But going forward, I think say follow continue for maintain that day. And President Bio also two things that they don't do inside 5 years for complement the effort of the TRC report. The Peace and National Cohesion Commission. They need for get more empowerment. They need for be empowered. Because when you take message to the people, sometimes it's not the message. You get for look at the messenger. Whether they carry the message go. The neutrality of the messenger. So President Bio for make sure say through development partners they empower the National Peace Commission for make sure say they reach out to every facet of this country for try for bring we together. Where people and they believe say Salon don't divide.
Okay, now the exclusive newspaper actually gets for peace and stability Bio Samura to meet. And inside page 2, it say members of the Interreligious Council are currently preparing to hold a dialogue and reconciliation meeting with President Julius Maada Bio and his main challenger in the just concluded general elections, Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara, in order to foster peace and stability during the post-election period. The Interreligious Council made this disclosure recently during a consultative meeting with the Independent Commission for Peace and national cohesion at the Bintumani Conference Center in Aberdeen, west of the capital. Now, Lawrence, how this actually important in the post-election period with Salone Day?
And that's a very critical period in every electionary process. After they don't call results, what next? And as we all know, the APC don't reject the outcome of the result. They don't want dialogue. I mean, if you look at the indication of the words in their press release, even the ones FRC yesterday stating that they are not going to court. And the law provides that election disputes can only be settled in the courts. And for presidential elections, you can only challenge the veracity of that election day at the Supreme Court. And you have about 7 days, constitutional time frame, 7 days, for actually approach the court for looking to such matters. Now, if you are saying that you are not going to court because, in your view, you don't believe or have trust and confidence in the judiciary, that signals a bell. Yeah? So, bringing these two together, yes, that's a very good idea. And I just hope, say, the Interreligious Council then succeed in doing that. In 2012, when the SLPP not being wholeheartedly, pleased with the outcome of the elections, we saw the Interreligious Council stepping in again, bringing the two parties together, President Kumar then with Julius Maada. We see how they go in dialogue and everything. So I believe, say, yes, they as the moral guarantors of the state have a responsibility to play in that direction. And but as you rightly mentioned, you raised the point, the use of the social media and the spread of disinformation, we largely, to some extent, characterize this whole electionary process and even up to this point. Now, you have people the way they sit down no more. I don't know whether they pay them or not, but that is their job, apparently. And they are very good at that. I can tell you something, just after they call elections where they declare President Bio duly elected, you have some Sierra Leoneans in America where be they spread what would you say, then they perfect in a military barracks. Then they where they call. So I received a number of calls because I get people them wake actually call me for like confirm news today and what have you. So even when I say this is not true, one of me, and he say, Nami Antina America, now he send this audio. And even in most instances, this large I-verified platform, where they do the fact checking, they spread them out. Personally, some man where they read them, bang, you know, agree back with that. So because is the division, the political division, does so entrenched to the point that are only the read thing will favor me bias or prejudice. If me na SLPP, anything will favor SLPP now and foresee. Anything even against SLPP, even if not true or not fact, for me, I would just discard it. The same applies to an APC person. If me na APC, now went in favor APC or went they against SLPP, now one for it. And went they against SLPP, even if not lie, I believe I'm saying a two, and I saw it be, and we say they run along with that one. So it brings us back to the attitude of processing information, questioning sources, and all of that. I think say a whole lot of education, public education and sensitization could be rolled out on that, particularly when these two individuals, when the Interreligious Council, they facilitate for the two big men they meet and dialogue and resolve all these differences. For me, I say Dr. Samoa may not be the problem. That is my own conviction. I say he may not be the problem. Bio as well may not be the problem. The problem could lie with the one that would be and then two individuals, particularly the APC camp. I mean, if as a leader, just like Quentin, this man been doing 2007 late Myk Berewa. I remember in one of the interviews, he said immediately as Christian Atop announced the result, he said, no, wait for SLPP for tell us. I say, immediately he picked up his phone and called an Escoma and congratulated her. Yeah, so we need to start developing such attitude now. If you are so much dissatisfied with the result, if you are so much displeased with the outcome, the legitimate channel for go through now the courts. Okay. And that nobody will stop you from going to court. Okay.
Now, as them the left remember, which you actually get for say with regards and also how we get for conduct with in this post-election period.
So in our media, me and CSO, so make him be more direct. Yeah, they don't talk all it in the way I want to talk on the side of peace between BO and Samoa. BO and Samoa are the same church here they go. Samoa might not be, and he has never been the problem. But sometimes, like we can say, not to the leader, but the battleman and where they be in, now then can be the problem. Basically, for APC not for going to court, it tests the Supreme Court. After the Supreme Court, don't prove themselves several times. In fact, for the first time under this Chief Justice, they set a special court. They set a special court, just like we they set a special court for it, for make sure say they quickly address election-related matters. You understand, eh? You cannot be more Catholic. APC cannot be more Catholic than the Pope. Yeah, you don't go discredit the judiciary, then you don't test them. You get for test them first at the highest level, then you go believe them. Because this is the same judiciary when the former vice president was sacked, then go there. Now the APC go where the judiciary, the same Supreme Court we sit also today. Now then judge that matter there in person. But again, I think say election can bring temper. But by this time, I feel say Samoa Kamara doctor and the APC supporters for Sidon and do a retrospect. Watch themselves. Look the figures we come out. Be lie to lie wa lie. Me, I deploy one of the largest. I deploy observers past new. I don't talk about then they say I get the full result of what's happening because we all software powerful. We deploy 9,000 observers in this country. We will not get money set from EU or EU no lay we na book fees hotel for pay 2 months rent for we even though we get hosted for sleep na salon. You understand? I can tell anybody point blank say APC lost this election. In the history of Salon politically, from 2007 to date, the voting pattern of Salon, how for win election is clear. I can talk about Salon election, like you wake me in the morning. What you go do? Just maintain your base and go infiltrate na your other person in base. You don't win Salon election. So easy. If you sit down like for example, you did na your host. If I go hip fet na your host, bang, you go beat me. But they make sure say your TV are broken. But who of your appliances they are broken? While me on safe. You get me? APC, this election is one of the worst results where they don't get from the southeast. SLPP, this is one of the best results they don't get. How can you say you win an election, you lost Kono, you lost Falaba, una almost shave Kwenadugu, una almost shave Cambia. Western area is 45-55. Western Ua una almost shave. For the first time in the history of SLPP, they get 4 parliamentary seats na Potloko. International community self where they look, you look that result today. Don't forget about the talent process, say the talent process not being transparent. But when you look at the figures, say where RN be the pool, you go automatically say SLPP win the election point blank. And even I follow some APC socialites on social media. Even the new result with the hang pan, new put President Bio ahead. The only thing we knew they say the election before don't go on off like 2018. Whether one day not to be mandate na next mandate. But when you look, you open Koro you look at the way APC performed at the Northwest. They perform very poorly na the stronghold. They also perform very poorly. So I think say at this time, Samoa Kama himself for don't sit down with himself. Look the basic numbers. The processes can be questions because elections na Salo processes have always been questions. Me brother. You know they ever believe you company like 2 drivers. You sit down at the front seat, I sit down, I me the driver, but you not professional driver. Now me and you they drive together. So not believe yourself. Because you know say when you sit down there, you they drive differently. Okay. Now they happen so. If na SLPP the opposition, they will never trust neck. If na APC the opposition, they will never trust neck. So waiting with they say, make Samoa Kamara calm down. President Bio don't send olive branch. Make them 2 come together. Now them 2 they worship to the same father. If they want to confess their sins, now to the same father that they go. The father know Samoa in secret, he know Mother Bio in secret. Where they all 2 they go now the same parish. So let's bring them together. And the Kakatoa then, the one they now where they be in, where they be done, Habub say that they can't get 1 or 2 opportunities if Dr. Samoa can have power. Make them calm down. These 2 political parties I can always say from 1961 to date, Sierra Leone have always been APC, SLPP. So that description of Al-Hussein and Al-Hassan, this is how it has been. No matter what thing happen, no matter the time, APC is the next government in waiting. Then SSF cannot afford for destabilize the country because they know no matter the time they get for kind of power. So if they destabilize the country now, then we're in trouble.
Okay, thank you, Mambu. I want to tell thank you to me guests then at the studio. Them done they left with small. This now outside we will actually bring the cutting down for today's show.